The rest of it, you kind of have to let it go. What I find remarkable about Trump, this dude fights on every front. And so he's doing the Pacific Trade Pact, and he's nicking away at Obamacare, and he's pushing in tax reform, and he's fixing the court. But what's cool is that while he's doing all this, he finds time to swat Meryl Streep. Boom! And Saturday Night Live, failing CNN. Debbie and I were at the Texas rally last week, and right in front there's a big platform with a sea of media faces. Now, Reagan, of course, had this kind of deft ability to go above the heads of the media. But what I think is cool is that Trump is sort of a one-man tank that rides into the media. He attacks them openly. Now, I know there are a lot of people, and there are not a few Republicans, who say that Trump is a man of deep human flaws. And I would like to address this topic head on. I think it is remarkable that, well, first of all, the context for this discussion is the fact that the Republicans have tried now for decades to appoint the squeakiest of clean Boy Scouts. Dole, McCain, Romney. I mean, Romney's so squeaky clean, if I was writing his college recommendation, it would be something like, you know, not since Jesus Christ. And yet, when Romney climbed up the podium and put himself in the public arena, the left jumped into the arena and beat him to such a pulp in 15 minutes, calling him the vilest of names. You scoundrel, you rapacious, greedy guy, where did you get your $200 million? You're ripping off the poor man, you're stealing from the middle class. And there was Romney in sort of gentlemanly embarrassment, on the defensive, up against the wall, explaining, apologizing. Now notice that this kind of attack has not even been attempted against Trump. You can't say to Trump, where do you get all that money? Trump has more money than Romney. But you can't accuse him of being a rich guy, because he'll sit you down and explain he's even richer than you thought. Now, it really doesn't work. And then the left pulls out its, I call it, it's sort of its master card. And this card is essentially, you have people who live the most sick and depraved and ruthless lives, who realize that they can get the Republicans on the issue of hypocrisy. If they can find a Republican who's flawed at all, they know that because the Republicans are the party of decency, if they can push this guy out forward, the Republicans themselves will pull out their long knives and kill him. And that was the whole point of Stormy Daniels. Sort of like, hey, Mr. Trump, what do you think of this? Stormy Daniels. Here's Trump. What else you got? Now, I mentioned Trump's flaws, and one of his flaws, let's be honest about it, the man does have a rather healthy ego. One might even say he has a Himalayan ego.
Nice meeting you.
Great chat.
In my movie, I morphed the heads of Lincoln and Trump, and some conservatives were a little outraged. They're like, Dinesh, be serious. This is ridiculous. How can you possibly compare, put on the same screen, Trump and Lincoln? Interestingly, I think that this outrage was somewhat shared by Trump, but from the other direction. Dinesh, come on, man. You think it was okay, but come on. Seriously? And yet, notice how this becomes a political virtue, because in this environment where Trump is savaged every second of every day on every platform by every, not just by babyface Jim Acosta, but he's savaged by every late night comedian, and he's savaged at the Emmys, and your own party's attacking you at the same. So in this situation, it kind of helps to have this insulating ego that allows you to push forward undeterred. It's a good thing. And here's another one of Trump's noted vices. If someone attacks him, no matter how picayune or irrelevant or out there, he has an emotional need to attack them back. He totally has to do it. He can't resist. Now, admittedly, this is not a lesson that we try to impart to our children. We try to convince them to have self-control, restraint, pick your battles. And yet, again, this undeniable human vice is, in this transformed and abnormal situation, a virtue, because with all the wimps and invertebrates that Republicans have on our side, we could certainly use a guy who knows how to fight back. Now, you're walking away from one thing. A thing that hasn't really worked, a thing that has actually bared its ugly face, shown ultimately it's the party of corruption and theft. But what are we walking to? What are the principles we are embracing? Which is another way of asking, what does it mean to be a conservative today? And what do we say to the so-called never Trump people? I mean, we don't have to say a whole lot to them. Normally, ridicule will do. But in kinder moments, it's good to have something to say. And what they say to them is, hey, what happened to the Reagan era of gentlemen's politics? Why can't we have that back? We're pining for that kinder, gentler America. And quite honestly, that's something I want too. But it's the greatest of foolishness not to recognize that we don't live in that America now. And Trump didn't create that situation, it created him.
Yep.
When Lincoln was first elected in 1860, he was literally surrounded by what can be called the rhinos of 1860, who said to Lincoln, there's trouble ahead, you have to now abandon the Republican platform of 1860. And Lincoln was like, what do you mean? And they were like, the Republican Party has campaigned on stopping the spread of slavery. We have to let that go. What we have to do now is take the Mason-Dixon line, the Missouri Compromise line, and push it all the way to California. North of that line, no slavery. South of that line, slavery forever. This was called the Crittenden Compromise, and it was presented as a proposal to avert the Civil War. And had Lincoln agreed to it, there probably would not have been a Civil War, but slavery would have been embedded into the United States forever. In fact, Lincoln refused to go along. And Lincoln said, in effect, I will suffer death, which is our way of saying, over my dead body. And what Lincoln said is, we just had an election. We put this exact issue before the American people. The American people, through an electoral majority, decided. It is a mandate, but it's not my mandate, it's their mandate. Our job is now to carry it out. Carry it out. And a year or two later, when the Union Army, for the first time, deployed black soldiers, black Union soldiers, it became Confederate policy that for every black Union soldier captured, he would be immediately executed. This was not done to white soldiers who were normal prisoners of war. And when this came across Lincoln's desk, he issued an executive order that in my mind is the most severe, arguably the most barbaric on the northern side. For every black Union soldier executed by the Confederacy, one Confederate captive will be shot. Now, why would a moderate man like Lincoln issue an order of such obvious severity? The answer is that Lincoln realized that in a bad situation, if you don't do to them what they're doing to you, there's no way to make them stop.
Yep.
No way. And in fact, the Confederates did stop, and Lincoln withdrew the order. So this is a way of saying that it is the greatest of foolishness not to recognize that the Democratic Party has become gangsterized in the past decade. It's not Jimmy Carter's party anymore. If we were awarding a prize for presidential nincompoopery, I think it still goes to Carter. The actions of the Carter administration were inept, but not malevolent. Jimmy Carter thought he was doing a great thing when he pulled the Persian rug out from under the Shah. And oops, he got Khomeini. So from the frying pan into the fire. But Carter didn't know that. He didn't anticipate it. He wasn't trying to install radical Islam in Iran. He just didn't really know what he was doing. This is not the same as Obama and Hillary. In my own little case, when I was up before the federal government, this is the Holder Justice Department, they were like, did you exceed the campaign finance law? I said, I inadvertently did. I was trying to help a college friend, but yes, I did exceed the law, and I should get the same penalty as anybody else who did the same thing. And then they were like, not so fast. And I realized that the plot thickens. So then they go, we're going to get you for bank fraud. I go, bank fraud? They go, yeah, because you withdrew your money from the bank. I go, Then they say, we're also going to get you for mail fraud. I go, mail fraud? They go, yeah, because you put the check in the mail. And then I realized what was going on. They were taking what I did, re-describing the same action 10 different ways, drawing on the wide federal accordion of federal statutes, which is almost interminable. They were using laws that were implemented to go after the mafia and ISIS. Laws of eavesdropping and laws, RICO statutes, laws of ways of using technicalities to get people who had committed serious crimes and couldn't be gotten for those crimes. These laws were designed to find ways to put those people off the street, and they were using these laws against me. So then I realized that essentially what we have here is a party, the Democratic Party, that doesn't view its critics as misguided. It views them as enemies. I'm totally convinced that the Obama administration could figure out a way to lock me up for 10 years. They would be positively delighted to do it. Their idea was to take me out. And they didn't take me out, but they did sort of nick me. And happily, even that little injury was undone when I got this unexpected call from the White House. The White House operator was said, hold the line for the President of the United States. And here comes Trump, and I must say he was in a very Trumpian mood. He goes, hey Dinesh, how's it going? He goes, I'm sitting here with John Kelly. He goes, you know John Kelly, don't you? And I'm like, I don't know John Kelly. I know who he is, but no, I don't know the guy. And then he got right to the point. He goes, man, you got screwed. And as I heard him talk, I wasn't really listening to every word that he said, because I was sort of taking in the implications of it. And while through my mind's eye was passing this great, clearing of my record and disarming the left of its ability to call me a felon and giving giving me my American dream back, but beyond all that, I saw the full significance was that this single act was a giant up yours to the Obama administration. Jubilation of walkway has to be fortified by the calm conviction that this is a big and long-term fight. In fact, the political fight is a tiny corner of the battlefield. There's a much larger cultural battle going on. We won't compete effectively long-term if we don't break the left's virtual monopoly on elite academia, on the mainstream media. There are a lot of things that are not done on our side that make us very dependent on their side. We do very little investigative journalism, for example. There are just a handful of people on our side who are ferreting out facts. We rely on their facts. And so there is a deep need. There is a deep need to dig out facts. There's a deep need to compete on the cultural level. I mean, so many young people who are funny and they go, gee, I'd love to be a stand-up comedian. But how do you become a stand-up comedian today on the conservative side? How do you become what Bill Maher became? Well, Bill Maher got his training in innumerable improvs in LA and New York. He was like the Beatles, 8 days a week. Those channels are not open to us. We have to create them. We have to create web channels, online channels, high-side channels. And we have to use our influence in the end to transform the whole conservative movement and the Republican Party so that we won't always have Trump. We're going to have a pretty confident Trump for 8 years. The election could be really close. Avenatti might be... No. But the test of our strength, will be that in 2024, we have, and this happened with Lincoln, we have a transformed conservative movement and a transformed Republican Party, transformed in large part by Trump, so we can then push on without him.
Yes.
There's a fantastic energy in the room. I think it bodes very well for the midterms. In the beginning of the Civil War, Lincoln's military advisor said to him that the South was fired up. And Lincoln's reply, I paraphrase, was, we have to be just as fired up on our side. Which is a hard thing to do. The South was fired up automatically because Union troops would be on Southern territory. It was harder to motivate the Union soldier than the Confederate soldier. Similarly, in the midterm, we know why they're fired up. They lack power, they're angry, they're desperate, and when you combine those things with the fact that they're vile, it's a potent combination. We have to be fired up too. And let's just say, thank God for all these vicious strikes that they attempted that failed.
Yeah.
Kavanaugh. Even this latest bomber, or perhaps I should say non-bomber.
Yes.
In all cases, you have a setup. And by a setup, all I mean is that this is a politically orchestrated event that is being played for political gain. The good news is we who used to take it on the chin are now getting smart. We're learning to decode the media, read between the lines, interpret what they're actually trying to say, and realize that much of what they call bad news is actually excellent news. And much of what they call good news is actually bad news that we've got to be alert for. So this decoding function, which I'm trying to extend to scholarship, when you're told a narrative, Trump is a fascist. Well, the idea that Trump is a fascist only works if fascism were on the right. And the idea that fascism is on the right long predates Trump. That idea was cooked up right after World War II. It was cooked up by a new generation of progressives who knew that fascism was on the left, but realized how politically damaging it would be if they put that into the textbooks. And so they said, let's redefine fascism. Let's move it into the right-wing column. Let's take the socialism out of National Socialism. Let's pretend that Hitler wasn't really a socialist. He didn't really campaign on a socialist platform. Let's ignore the fact that Mussolini was a lifelong socialist and a long-time Marxist. Let's suppress all that. We don't even want educated young people to know that. So this cookery of the books has been going on for a long time. And walking away isn't just embracing Trump, it's also recognizing that you have to reorganize the facts in your head. Put a new lens into the camera, look with a new skepticism at the things that are out, that are taught as things that people know. When I speak on campus, one of my biggest challenges is that young people, smart young people, know things that aren't true. But they know it with such brazen cockiness that they say things like, Dinesh, don't you realize that the racist Dixiecrats all became Republicans? And they say this with such conviction and such confidence, and I think to myself, you virtual moron. How did you become so sure about something that you can pull out your phone? You can, in 1 second, Google up the Dixiecrats. You can count in 5 seconds how many of them became Republicans, and yet you have the audacity to stand up in a public forum against someone who's much older and better educated than you, and lecture him about how it feels. And I think to myself, how does someone get that way? And the answer is this. They get that way because of what can be called the ricochet effect. So a progressive academic writes a book that fascism is on the right, or writes a book about the big switch. And his like-minded faculty colleagues go, brilliant book, this settles the debate. And then the New York Review of Books writes a flattering review, and he's interviewed on NPR. And pretty soon, Michael Moore comes rolling in to make a documentary. And then the History Channel is interested. Steven Spielberg puts an episode in his, so here's my point. The ordinary intelligent guy goes, oh yeah, that's gotta be true. My professor said something, I was in Barnes & Noble, I saw it over there, I turn on NPR, and there it was, and there I type into Wikipedia, and there it is. And so the fact that the same bullet is ricocheting off one wall to the next wall to the next wall, this guy thinks he's getting corroborating evidence. This all almost reminds me of Susan Blasey Ford. I told my husband, I told my best friend. But that's not external corroboration, that's just you repeating yourself all over again. And similarly here, you have the same fact coming back at you, but people think it's got to be true, I've gotten all the corroboration I wanted. So changing people's minds from the inside out, that's a longer term task. Yeah. And that's one, but it's a noble task, because ultimately it puts conservatism on the side of truth, skepticism, open inquiry, fairness. At the end of the day, our platform is actually very modern. What we are conserving is nothing more than liberalism itself, the classical liberalism of the American founding. Having said that, let me conclude with something that William F. Buckley said many years ago. He came to speak on the Dartmouth campus, and he raised the question of what does it mean to be a conservative in a liberal culture? Very interesting question, because normally a conservative conserves. But his point is, what if you happen to be in a culture whose assumptions are shaped and dominated and set by the left? Now what do? You conserve that, you'll be conserving progressivism. So what does a conservative do in that anomalous situation? And Buckley's answer was, you sort of have to stop being a conservative. By which he meant, not relinquish your principles, but you remain a philosophical conservative, but temperamentally, you have to be a radical. You have to do things differently. You have a reigning, entrenched set of assumptions on a campus, for example. You have to find a way to shake those. And the normal conservative temperament doesn't really work. We've tried this normal conservative. Look at the court. Even before Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, the majority of nominees on the court are from our side. But we can't count on it. Now notice when the Democrats nominate someone to the court, they ask only one question. Is this person a completely reliable left-wing Democrat? That's the only question they ask. They want to count with Euclidean certainty on the 4 Democratic votes, and they can. They never deviate. On our side, we have all these external criteria. We want a candidate who has a deep love of reading. We want a candidate who is dedicated to the principles of the Constitution. We want a candidate who interprets the Constitution in the light of the original intentions of the people who wrote those documents. So here we are producing this unbelievable intellectual juggling, and then what we end up with is, how's Anthony Kennedy feeling today? Yay, we got Kennedy! Whoops, we lost Roberts. So what you see is that there's a disproportionate level of ideological commitment of the two sides are bringing to this fight. And this is also true generally. Antifa's roaming the campus. And by the way, in no way am I saying that because they beat up our speakers, we should beat up their speakers. Not at all. Here's what I'm saying. We have to hold their side accountable. Because if Antifa can drive a speaker off the campus, and intimidate the audience or cause the college to cancel the event, they count that as a win. And they will keep doing it as long as it works. A couple of years ago, Condoleezza Rice was offered a graduation degree in speech at Rutgers University. There was a ruckus on the campus. No way, she's setting one foot on the campus. And Condoleezza Rice, graceful, ladylike, withdrew. To which many conservatives applauded. What a beautiful display of ladylike noblesse oblige. No, not in my opinion. In my opinion, it was a disgraceful abdication. Why? Because if Condoleezza Rice can't speak on a campus, no conservative will set foot on that campus ever again. If she's unacceptable, who's acceptable? And so by playing along with this disgraceful charade, you actually strengthen the other side. You convince them, wow, that's the formula. That's how we take their side out. All we have to do is create a ruckus, and those people are such wimps that they will back off. This is really why the left was surprised by Trump. They expected him to act that way, and he refused to. He totally refused. So at the end of the day, I think Trump is the man of the hour. Just as General Grant was. And there were people who went to Lincoln, Republicans. General Grant is an alcoholic. General Grant has low moral character. General Grant bankrupted his father To which Lincoln replied, yes, but he can fight. That's the case for Trump.
Woo!
So welcome to the fight. Couldn't have been at a better time. We need you on our side. The Reagan legacy is actually being restored by a man who's very different than Reagan, but is moving those Reaganite principles forward in this moment and in this time. I think when we look back, we will see that it was a critical time, and by tragic necessity, the responsibility of fixing it falls on our shoulders, and I hope and I pray, but at the end of the day, I'm also confident that we are totally up to the task. Thank you very much.
It was excellent. Brandon. That's it. You're welcome, you guys.
My name is Michael Scholl.
You're welcome, you guys. Oh.
Thank you all for being here. This is wonderful. What we have now for you, as you know, this is a fundraising weekend for this movement. Every one of your tickets is helping to make this happen.
Woo!
We want to make this into a long-term campaign. A safe place for Democrats to land when they leave the party. Welcome. That's us.
Woo!
So our dollars make this happen. I've contributed. I know every one of you has with a ticket or more. We have many sponsors in the audience. What we'd like to do now is give you an opportunity to get something a little bit special. We're putting on an auction to raise more funds. And we have a wonderful auctioneer who volunteered to put this on for us. You may have heard the name of her organization, 200 Deep, one of our biggest sponsors. Let's give her a round of applause.
Woo!
Please go check out their website, 200deep.com. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our auctioneer, Cassandra Toria.
Good morning.
Morning.
How many of you came here this weekend and thought, oh, maybe like I'll be here with 10 people? No? How many of you came here this weekend and thought, oh my God, I can actually speak freely?
Woo!
That's feeling. That's an amazing feeling. I don't know about you, but I'm sad to leave. I want to do this more often. And in order to be able to do this more often, we need money. It's bottom line. The walkaway movement that Brandon has started is only the beginning. And I know they've got huge plans, but it does take money. They're getting organized. They want us to have the opportunity to have more gatherings, to bring more people into the fold. And yes, we can't all just function with volunteers. There needs to be some dollars spent along the way to make this legit and professional and have a great website and have some media. So I asked them if I could come up here and start off an auction. So they have these beautiful commemorative t-shirts.
I'll give you $100.
So we're going to start the bid off, but first, Brandon's going to sign this.
Oh, nice.
And it's going to be in whatever size you would like.
I already have
And
mine.
so we're going to start the bid off with $500. $500, and you are getting a t-shirt that Brandon has personally signed. You can hang it on your wall. You can show it to all of your Democratic friends that are going to laugh at you, and you can say, well, you can have one too if you come and join our movement. Because some of you came a long way, and I know that you want this to continue on. So is anyone here willing to bid $500 for this t-shirt? Anybody? 500 in the back there. Thank you, sir. Is anybody willing to bid $600 for this t-shirt? 600. Come on, I know we can. Look at this beautiful room we're in. This costs money, people. Is anybody willing to bid $600? Anybody? 600 right here. Thank you very much, ma'am. Do I have 700? You're going to be able to hang this on your wall. You can say you were at the very first walkaway movement and then you were here and Brandon, who's now a historical figure, signed your t-shirt. Do we have 700? Anybody for 700? Come on. There we go. 700. Thank you very much. Do we have 800? 800, thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Can we get to 900? Can we get to 1,000? Anybody just willing to say, you know what, I'm going to give $1,000 right now?
Do it.
All right. Thank you so much. Should we keep going? Anybody willing to give a little bit, a few more shekels? A few more? 1,100? Maybe? All right, sir, thank you very much. Everybody come around and get your name. Does anybody have one more t-shirt? Is anybody else willing to match that 1,000 for the other t-shirt? Anybody? Ma'am? Somebody else here that gave? You're willing to match that 1,000? Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. Back there in the red. So somebody can go around and get their names. So the next thing we have, there's this wonderful winery that also is a sponsor, I believe. And it's the Rio Crest Winery in Sonoma, the Russian River Valley. Beautiful wines. And they've offered to donate a couple of their bottles to beautiful Pinot Noir. Rio Crest, the Tina Marie Vineyard. Has anybody heard of that? It's a beautiful, beautiful boutique winery. So we're going to start the bidding off with $100. The bottle is worth $100. So, and thank you very much, sir. And it's also going to be signed by Brandon. So on election day in a couple weeks when we win, you can crack this bottle open, right? This will be your celebratory bottle. Do we have $200 for the bottle? 200. Do we have 300? 300. All right. Anybody else? 400? 400? Thank you very much back there. 400. Do we have 500? Anybody for 500? Thank you very much, ma'am. 500. Do we have 600? 600. 600 back there. Okay. Woo! Thank you. Do we have 700? This will be the most beautiful tasting bottle you've ever had. It will be the taste of sweet victory. Do we have 700? You never know, maybe one day Brandon will be able to do that. Okay, so we're going to go out with 600 back there. Is anybody willing to match that 600? got another bottle. Is anybody willing to match that 600 for the other bottle? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I have one more bottle. Anybody willing to match? Thank you very much back there. All right, everybody, this is just the beginning. Thank you for your support, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Walk away, take it home, live it. Don't be afraid to put that Trump sticker on the back of your car. Don't let them make you afraid.
Hey, thank you all so much. That was awesome. Thank you. We're going to bring her with us everywhere we go. I'll just start auctioning off my clothes.
Woo!
So, okay, as with a lot of things that I would love to sit here and tell you that every single decision I've ever made with this campaign was, after hours and hours of scrutinous thought. The truth is sometimes I'm like, hey, let's do a March on Washington, and I just say it on the live interview and I have to do it. And I had one of those moments just now. We have the room for another, Tracy, we have the room for another hour? 11. I had this idea that I think could be a really cool way to end this weekend experience, as long as no one gets carried away and we all kind of cooperate with the spirit of the idea. I thought, hell, we have the room for another hour. How about if we open up the mic and give everybody who'd like to come up for a couple minutes the opportunity to say what this weekend is at? Woo! I would love to hear from all of you. Any of you would like to get up for 2 minutes max, I love you, to say any thoughts that you have on the weekend. Yes, sir, you can come first and get kicked off, absolutely. One quick thing I want to say before this gentleman starts, we get started. I love this campaign. I know you all love this campaign. And one of the things I love so much about this campaign is it's a true movement of the people by the people. And nothing about this campaign has been particularly easy, other than the fact that it's something that people wanted. It's been successful because it's something people wanted. We have gotten a lot of support from the press. We don't at this point. I mean, I know it seems like we do, but believe me, it's been a struggle every time I'm, getting my face out there and stuff. Already, we have news organizations writing about how we had a few hundred people yesterday at that march. We spoke with DC police who estimated the attendance at somewhere around 5,000.
Woo! Yeah!
We had over 500 people at the gala dinner on Friday night.
Woo! Yes. I'm going to post a chat.
And let's be honest, every person at that dinner paid $250 to $350. So imagine the people who weren't able to afford to come who showed up at the march yesterday. So I'm going to ask you all one more favor. After you get home from this weekend, make another video testimonial and tell the truth about what happened here this weekend.
Woo!
Post it on YouTube, post it on the Walkway Campaign Facebook page, post it on Twitter, post it on Instagram, post it everywhere you can and share it and share it and share other people's and share your own and share your friends and share your neighbors. If the media doesn't want to tell the truth about what happened here this weekend, we're going to do what we've done all along. We're going to take the narrative back, we're going to take the power back ourselves. Get home, I don't care if you're in your car, I don't care if you're in your bathtub, I don't care if you're naked in bed with whoever. Point that camera at your face and tell the truth about what happened here this weekend. And put it on social media and let's tell the world the truth about what happened at the Walkway March on Washington weekend. I want to hear from you all.
You all are awesome, beautiful people.
Woo!
So I think Thomas and Susan did an amazing speech. It was wonderful.
just like to tell you all that for the past 2 days, this weekend, Republicans and conservatives have done more for me than the Democrat Party has done my entire life.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you all. On November 6th, we're going to take my mom to vote, we're going to take my friends to vote, and we're all walking away.
Woo!
Also, a big shout out right over there to Miss Lieberman. Mrs. Lieberman has been fantastic. Thank you all so much for your time. Thank you all so much. Trump 2020.
Woo!
When we go one, we go all.
About 2009, that was my transition, and I walked away and it never looked back. And I'm walking with you, but I also need to walk here. And I just want to say that this is wonderful. I was also part of the Tea Party movement. I helped Jenny Beth Martin start it. This is a continuation. I keep telling them I'm part of the Republican Party in Georgia, and I keep telling them, like, we need to love and welcome you all in. And I welcome you to join the Republican Party and keep our politicians accountable. Now also, some of you might know me because I posted a poem that my daughter wrote. I can, but I won't. You want to get it? It's all about the flag. Okay, I think you will find it. I posted it to the campaign, but I also posted it on the travel walkway. You'll find it and read it. It's a wonderful poem.
Hi, my name is Dawn, and I'm walking with you, but I have to say too, that because of all of your stories and the inspiration, I've been able to walk away from my fear of stating boldly and proudly what I believe. And I don't want to talk anymore. I want to lead all of you in singing God Bless America. God bless America. Land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet
Sorry, guys.
My name's Eddie Blair. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I think my movie this weekend, I'm going home to my empty house. I've been on my own for many kids. Almost all my friends have said, well, I'll see you later. And I have two older sisters who pretty young enough to rip me off as well. In fact, my one sister flamed me on Facebook a few weeks ago. But anyway, one thing that's begun to become uppermost in my mind is that even though this kind of started off as a political conflict, I think there's much more to it than that. I really truly believe that we're in a battle for the soul of our nation. The fight doesn't stop at the polls. It should continue on in our churches, our houses of worship, and places where we gather. One thing I think would be most grateful for is Donald Trump, that he restored my faith in God.
Yes. You're welcome, Timothy.
For many years, I lived a little life of what you could call quiet desperation. The last thing I wanted to vote for was Ross Perot. Because I knew what was even then apparent what was happening in this country. Unfortunately, he decided not to vote. But Donald, when I heard that Donald Trump was a very good friend of his, that filled me with hope. My story's a bit different than most people. I have been lifelong Republican conservative. But in the summer and fall of 2016, I started hearing stories about Homeland Security buying millions of rounds of ammunition, that fuel camps, number of fuel camps being built all across our nation, and that Walmart stores were being turned into blue lights. The plastic boxes the size of coffins being stacked up in lots around the country. I started seeing all this on the internet. You know, I segued from one topic to another way, searching around. And this is what I started seeing. And Hillary Clinton was a definite shoo-in for the presidency. So, November 6th, 2016, I was in Melbourne, Australia, watching the election from there. I didn't walk away, I ran. I'm sorry, I'm done.
I'm Deborah Straker, a nice Jewish girl from Long Island. I have a family at age 24, I'm 68. I have waited 44 years for this. I have waited 44 years and prayed to see our country wake up. God is all over you, Brandon. God is all over Walkway. God is using this. We're going to have a revival. Every nation and every tribe is looking to America right now. There's more than us. It's a longer club. We are going to have a revival. Your righteousness stands up and God is proclaimed and truth and freedom for every man.
Hello, everybody. All you beautiful people, thank you very much. I am an actual, real deal liberal.
Oh, dear.
I have been voting for the Democratic Party all my life, and in 2016, for the first time in my life, I voted Republican. I have not left being a liberal. Liberalism has left me. I believe in free speech. I believe in the great American middle class, which has been destroyed, and I want to see it come back. I lived in Brooklyn for 25 years, about a mile away from Hillary Clinton's headquarters. I voted for her twice as my senator, and that makes me truly a deplorable. I beg for your forgiveness. When I saw what she did to Libya, she threw the women of Libya under the burqa. Okay, when I saw what she did to Syria, I said, no, we have to stop this person. True liberals fight against unjust wars. We threw Lyndon Johnson out of the White House. We didn't say, hey, he's on our side. Obama started 5 new wars. The anti-war movement went away. I said to everyone, what would be the difference between a Jeb Bush presidency and a Hillary Clinton presidency? With Jeb Bush, you're going to get all the new wars and a return of the anti-war movement. With Hillary Clinton, you're just going to get all the new wars.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can be said. I thank you all, but I've been to many demonstrations here in Washington, D.C. This has been the most joyous one. In those demonstrations in the past, the left had a chant, and now they're phony baloney left. Now I call them the pro-war left. Now I got to call them the ultra-left. But let's scare the left to death, because they are phony baloney, all right? When the people are united, and they just mean half the people, let's scare them. The people united can never be defeated. The people united
can never be defeated. The people.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, my name is Tammy Robinson, like he said. We're from Toledo, Ohio. We were never Democrats.
All right.
We were always conservative, and everyone's saying, how can you be conservative? You're brown. We're not. How can we not conservative or Democrat? You're a woman. But here we are. We've always been conservative, and we walk away with you. We are supporting you. We're trying to tell our friends and family, come on and join the right side, because it is the right side. This is awesome. I'm so excited. Here's Jeff.
Hey, Jeff here. Always been a conservative, lifelong conservative, vote Republican as soon as I registered. I love this walkaway movement because everyone can speak for themselves. Nobody speaks for you. Like I said on my video, Al Sharpton does not speak for me. Jesse Jackson does not speak for me. Walter Bowman does not speak for me.
Oh, say, can you see?
Likewise, thank you. Likewise.
I mean on the paper because I'm already American here. I respect so much your country that I could never allow anybody to come here illegally.
Yeah.
I want my children to enjoy this. And thank you all for welcoming your country. When I am short six years that I'm here in the States, I accomplished more than I ever did. 23 years, by now you already know my age, but it's okay. Than I ever accomplished in my home country. And I wish that all my friends could see this, and I'm so proud to be American in my heart.
Yes.
I'm from California, and I'm an introvert. But
Charger.
your bravery has brought me out of myself. I am a mother, a sister, a granddaughter, a grandmother. I am a veteran. I'm a nurse. I am American. I am also a child of God, and I know there are a lot of children of God in this room and in this movement. And my pastor out in Texas is on President Trump's spiritual team, and he's praying for him, and they're praying for President Trump all the time. And I want to say one word of encouragement. Number one, for all of you who are believers in this room, you're sitting next to non-believers, they're supporting you. We're all one. It doesn't make any difference our differences. What makes the difference is we're all Americans, and Brandon has given us the freedom to speak out loud. So remember, for all of you believers and non-believers alike, no weapon formed against us can prosper. Right from God. And the second one is, anything formed against you, anything used against you, God will use to your benefit. Look at Kavanaugh. So for all of you grandparents out there, we are making a better future for our grandchildren. Be proud.
Thank you so much. Give Brandon a hand. Where's hands go? Where you at? Come here. I got 30 seconds left. I know you weren't gonna come up here, so I can come up here. One thing I want to make everyone notice. You notice everyone that came up here and get in line, they went over to the right side. There's nothing wrong with walking up, that's where I came, but they want to be clear that they're walking away from the Democratic Party. Man, you know what, this guy here, I love this guy, he always have me cracking up, and it's people like him, Brandon, and all of you that's going to actually make a change in this nation. This is the time, 2018, November 6th is the most important midterm election in our history. Because time
to walk away. Tell the liberals to go to bed and walk away. I do not believe in being in bad relationships. The liberals are a bad relationship. Listen, I don't care if you're in a bad relationship with a friend, with your cousin, your husband, your wife. Fix it or walk away. You
name is Suzanne. I'm from Stamford, Connecticut. I'm a retired teacher, a musician. My grandfather, I grew up in Massachusetts, was a state senator who worked with JFK on the HUD project. This is not his party. This is not the party of my union. I've been in the closet about this for years. I've been paying union dues and voting Republican for years. And Brandon, I want to tell you, I never heard about you until Wednesday. What? Where have I been? I watched your video, and I watched the moving testimonials of so many of you in this room, and I couldn't stop crying, and I spent all my Christmas money that I was going to give to my grandsons to get here. So that they don't have to pay our debt, so that their education isn't corrupted. I applied as a district captain for Convention of States in Connecticut. It's a very unpopular position. I was afraid to press the submit button until Wednesday because I needed the courage to lose all my friends. I've never been so welcomed in my life by everybody, and I haven't even talked to anybody yet. Before anybody does to try to fix this, Dinesh has been my hero. He did time so I can give my time to this. I'm going to help, this group is going to help my movement to walk away. Because before you do anything, you have to see what you're walking away from. I didn't walk away from the Democratic Party easily. I walked away by thinking, by reading, by looking for real journalists. And it took me a long time to get here, but I'm damn glad I'm here. And keep going. Walk away, and if you haven't, walk with. Thank you.
Hello, my family. Dr. Grace, I'm a retired school teacher after 30 years working in Memphis Public Schools, and our schools are in shambles. Most of our resources go to the ELL kids, and our American children are getting the scraps, whatever's left over. I come from humble beginnings. We were so poor that there wasn't enough food to eat, but I ate because I learned to steal food. And when I didn't want to be poor anymore, at the age of 17, I ran away from home and ended up getting in with the wrong guy, with this drug dealer who was sick. He beat me, I was size 2, I was bald-headed, and he shot me up with what was referred to as a speedball, which was cocaine and heroin, and I died. The only reason why he brought me back to life, he said, wasn't because he loved me, it's because he knew that the cops would find the body and he would get into trouble. So right then and there, I knew I had to walk away from him. I went back to night school, got my high school diploma, and then when I started working on my first degree, business management and marketing, I learned about this person named Donald Trump because the required reading was The Art of the Deal. And then we also had to read Lee Iacocca's book, the one that brought back Chrysler. I have been in love with Daddy. Over 30 years. I don't understand how they're acting like they don't like him. He wasn't a racist or anything. They were hanging out with him. I've been waiting for him for a long time, and he's here. And he's here to save our country. I get on my knees and I pray to God to protect him and his family. And when I watch him on TV, before I go to sleep, I say, I love you, Donald. All of my cousins, okay, and I want to talk to the people from Toledo, where my sister lives there. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Deb. I made a sign and it said, America Unite, common sense and love matter. I have been following Brandon for quite some time, posted this video on my Facebook page, and got a lot of heat, okay, from the liberal people that I have in my lives. But you know what? Donald Trump is the right man at the right time, and Brandon is the right man at the right time for this movement. I have an analogy for all you new baby walkawayers. Okay, I walked with. Replace fear with fervor. Go out there and be bold, because you are going to get a lot of slack. You gotta get the thick skin on, man. It's coming at you, and it's gonna come at you. Just like Brandon said, they're gonna come for me, and then they're gonna come for you. Real quickly, I use the analogy when I first became a Christian. As a baby Christian, I was so excited. I wanted to tell everybody, oh, it's so great. That's where your excitement level is now. You do want to tell everybody, don't you? So those of us that we're walking with and who actually really get it right now, and those, we have to nurture these people, because they can fall away so quickly. And when we do that, we have to do it with kindness and with love, because there is a part of the Republican Party that I'm not very proud of. And I think all of us in this room agree, because we're more in the middle. We're not extreme on either side. And there's a swamp on each side too, we know that. So I just want to encourage everyone to be kind and to really, really go out there in love. Okay? Praise God.
Hey there, my name is Val. I'm from Florida. I'm serving as a long-tailed cat. I'm in a rocking chairs right now, but that's kind of part of my message that I want to say. I walked away midway through Obama's second term, so I proudly voted for Trump. And I lost a lot of relationships, friends, family. I haven't lost them, they've all changed. And they kind of eventually shut me down and put me in the corner, and I shut up. And I just want to thank Brandon, because him and all of you, that's what this weekend has meant to me. I'm going to go home and I'm going to wear my Trump hat proudly. That's what this weekend has meant to me, and I just want to thank him and all of you and everybody on the site, all the videos I watched. You guys are giving me the strength to go out, and as you said, I'm going to take some arrows, but that's what we have to do to save this country. So, go Trump! Hey y'all, my name is Cheryl, and I am a proud American citizen living in the great country of Costa Rica. And to be perfectly honest with you, as a gay woman, I voted for Obama, and about halfway through his tenure, I took the red pill and decided to get the hell out of there. I had written off the United States, it was DOA, it wasn't coming back. And that was honestly how I felt. And then around 2015, something started happening. Look at this clown on the TV. Oh my God, look at him. Oh my God, look, and I knew what he was doing, and it was awesome. And I'm sitting there in Costa Rica, and I'm like, yeah, go. And he won. I mean, I made it a point to get back here to vote. I was like, I've got to vote for this man. And we won. Still living in Costa Rica, but the pull is there. The pull is there. And then video. And I'm not calling like a baby. You know, I am. And it's like, I did lose all my friends via Facebook, but most of my Costa Rican friends, they don't even care. They're like, oh, you're president, you local, but we want to go to the United States. So anyway, what this weekend means to me, quite honestly, is like, the pull is back. Thank you, Brandon. Thank all of you. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. I want to come back. I want to get involved. God bless America.
Morning. My name is Baji Nice, and this is not going to take long. President, I need you to come right close. Brandon,
Sorry.
No. All right, I need everybody to stand up, please. Because Brandon said something yesterday that touched all of us. But he said he's not a real Christian type person, but he is opening himself up to God. Yes, you did. And this right here, young man, is a God thing. And God has chosen you, so I want everybody to come closer. I want everybody to come closer. Brandon. I need everybody to reach their hands toward Brandon. I'm going to pray for him in this movement. Everybody, come closer, come closer, come closer. I need everybody in. We need the Spirit in. Okay. Father God, we humbly come to your throne of grace and mercy. First, saying thank you. Thank you for fellowship. Thank you for this movement. For Father God, we needed a spark. And you have touched your Son, who has opened up his mind, who has opened up his heart, who has opened up his spirit to receive people that have been thrown away, to receive people that have been pushed away, to receive people that have been so downtrodden that they needed something to unite. And you gave Brandon Struck a vision. So Father, we ask right now that you keep on blessing him. You keep on empowering him. You bring all the support mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually for him, his co-workers, this movement, his supporters, and for our country. Because we need it right now. So I ask that everyone, in Jesus' name, we say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And God welcomes Brandon Struck to his kingdom and his ministry. And we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Woo! Woo!
Hey, Jordan. I just discovered you yesterday.
Okay, we're just gonna take a few more, sake of time. So if we can make our way back to our seats, thank you.
You're welcome, Jill.
My name is Mara. I have always been conservative. I voted for Maggie Thatcher. I am not a great person, but I recognize greatness in others. In 2016, after having lived in America for over 30 years, I went back to England, I voted Brexit, I came back. I became an American citizen in September of 2016.
Woo!
Because I recognize greatness in Donald Trump. And in May of 2018,
not mobs. Not mobs.
Thank you everybody for being here this weekend. I would like to introduce to you the most deplorable person I know. He's running for a city council position in DC right now. This won't be a campaign speech though. My favorite Russian friend slash political conversationalist. Please welcome Mr. Romney.
Pretty much. I want to say out my hands take credit. If there's any vets in the room, I want you to stand up. You know what I'm saying? Look at these vets. One thing I want to say, just give you a little background. I live in Washington, D.C., so it's very hard to walk away. In a city like Washington, D.C., when it's 85% Democrat. I'm a conservative. When Trump came down those golden stairs, I went right to his website about $100 for anything. Signs, stickers, whatever. And my wife joked me saying when I put the sign in the front yard, I killed my grass. The grass grew back. That's what it's But, you know, Brandon once here, and I just want you to let him know, I used to be a federal probation officer for 11 years. Currently, I work in immigration right now. And I'm not ashamed to say that. But the thing I am ashamed of, when I was a probation officer, I walked into a lot of black homes. A lot of black homes. And a lot of black folks are just naive to the fact of how they're being manipulated and moved to So, as I'm in the community and I'm trying to work with my little campaign and talk to black folks, you know, I try to let them know that, you know, what you thought was true is not true. You know, when you try to give them the literature and the truth, they just walk away from you. And it makes it difficult. It makes sure that conservative ideas can fix a lot of things. And one thing I jokingly say that conservative ideas fix the relationship between me and this young man. Who says that conservative ideas cannot fix racial relations? Because he's white, I'm black, and we're the best friends in the world. And one thing I tell a lot of people that, and I propose this to Brandon, if you can hear this, say this, if you're going to do some real outreach, go into the black communities. Teach black folks about conservative views and ideas. Make them understand that if you want prosperity, if you want better life, you cannot keep living on the plantation of liberalism. You gotta move to some more conservative ideas to make sure that we all can eat, we all can benefit from the long way. I want to say thank y'all and have a great day.
I've attended in Washington, D.C. with the unions, with the anti-war movement. I've never seen such a diverse, well-mannered group of people. Every time I had to go to the other demonstrations, I had to compromise myself with a number of thank yous. And I have to say this, I'm an old lefty that belonged to the SDS, attended my first Black Panther meeting in 1969. And please, get this on YouTube. Malcolm X from the grave tipped me over to Trump. Malcolm X. Dixiecrats are nothing but Democrats. Google it and on YouTube and see it, and you'll find out who the real on the toms are. There's none of them here. These are the real. And anyway, I want to say this. I went to Politicon last week in LA. And I asked a few questions. One was to Malcolm Nance, who got me permanently banned from Twitter. And he said he was from Philadelphia. I said, well, I'm not from Philadelphia, but I was on the ground at the DNC in Philadelphia, and James O'Keefe disguised himself and his staff as Hillary supporters, and he made the poster boy for being the burn your bus people against Hillary Clinton. And there's a t-shirt I saw out. Putin didn't make me vote for Trump. Hillary did. One report by MSNBC credit was Chuck Todd tried to do the morning after what happened in this election, and he went to Wisconsin. And then there were 22 counties that voted for Obama in 2012 that switched to Trump in 2016, and they were the very same 22 counties that voted for Bernie Sanders in the Democratic primary. And I have to say this too, I'm a Green Party member. And 1/3 of the Green Party, or a number of people from the Green Party, made a petition against Jill Stein in her voter recount. And I will tell you this, I don't have the statistics, but I would say 1/3 of the Green Party voted for Trump, 1/3 voted for Jill Stein, and 1/3 just didn't vote.
Okay, we're nearing 12 o'clock, so I'm just going to ask.
Pleasure to meet you. Likewise.
Very, very brief.
Oops, sorry.
Well, I came up here to say hi to Brandon, but he left. We've been communicating on Twitter. I said, I'm Mary Jane Walford. I'm from Seattle, Washington. And, oh, yeah! And now, this is the only place where I can wear this from hat. It's not safe in Seattle. You know. So, oh, I used to live there. Okay, thank you. I just want to thank everyone's so welcoming and loving here. You know, I traveled alone because our dog is sick, so my husband is home with our dog. So, we're alone in DC. It's just a miracle. Because of Brandon, he brought us all together here. I just want to thank him. And I'm just so overwhelmed. I hope we get another round in the future too. I love Trump!
How many people need all fingers and toes to count how many times they cried tears of joy this week? You guys are able to get off the song and cry those times, joyous tears. Our job is to touch people with our stories, to move them with the truth, to inspire them to be great. Touch, move, and inspire. That's what Brandon has done for all of us. And now it's time for us to do that for the rest of the world.
Hey everybody, so I want to thank Brandon, who's not here. I want to thank Dinesh, who's not here. I want to thank a bunch of other people who have been online and actually supported me. My walk-away story is actually quite interesting. I was first born into a communist country, and I was a Democrat my entire life. When Donald Trump asked me, what the hell do I have to lose? It was actually a lot. There's a lot that we have to lose in this election and in this country. Because America is the best country on the planet Earth. And every time that I interact with the left, it's always claim your victim status. Be the victim. Be the recipient of our benefits. Instead, it's always animosity, hate, and fear. The feelings that we get when we interact with the left. But today, for the first time, we interact with people, and the only thing I can overwhelmingly say is there's love in this room. And I thank you for
out of it all. 1 year ago today, I did something that wasn't popular as it was right now. I got on CBS News and announced my support for President Trump. I was literally asked, what do you say to people to justify why you support your president? I think for myself, period.
Yes.
I don't let anybody tell me what I need to do, how I need to think, or what I need to say. I'm an individual, and so are all of us. So right now, I'm traveling in the United States doing a documentary. What makes America great? Because each and every day we hear we're not exceptional, or America has never been great. When you look out over this audience, you look out to what we had yesterday, this is what makes America great. Each and every last day. here to support people that looks like me, talks like me, and walks like me. And if you ever get shadow deleted or ostracized from Twitter, Facebook, or any other major platform, find something else. And it's called Freely.com. Speak freely because we all got a voice. It's time for it to be heard.
And so we started almost a whole walk, and 3 or 4 times I started walking. He was like, "Oh man, you're good. We're just going to keep walking." Well, we were the very last. He goes, "How cars behind us, don't worry." And I'm like, "Well, we can get straight to something." He goes, "They're not going to run all you. You just got to keep walking." So this man, his first name is Jason. I don't know where he's from, but he set me up a stool to sit on, and it was just an angel. He was an actual angel. So all I'm trying to say is that's what conservatism, and God bless this man. I pray I can find him. I really want to thank him.
We're going to take one more because we're already over time.
Okay, I'm going to try to make this very quick. As you all know, I'm transgender. 8 years ago, I came out. I came out to a world I thought was going to hate me. That you guys were not going to love me. That I lost to lose everything, and that's a choice I've already made to begin. Now, I'm not here to try to sell you I'm transgender. I'm here because I want to thank you. You guys opened up and you broke walls this weekend for my people.
Woo! Yes.
We have a pathway now to further understanding, to showcase the political diversity in my community, and to be here as one people, one America. You guys gave me hope this weekend, and I had the greatest day of my life yesterday. I just want to thank you.
Beautiful.
It would be my honor. I have my transplant at food yesterday. I'm going to put the table in the back. I'm going to Sharpie. It would be an honor if I could have you all sign that so I can show my community the love you guys show me.
Sure.
There we go. See, that Holy Spirit. See, this was like a church. Everybody in this church today, now you don't have to feel bad. Because everybody in the church. Thank you all so much for coming today. I love that idea of everybody signing that shirt outside. That's a great idea. I don't know what's going to come in the next couple. I think I'm going to start a new hashtag for myself. It's going to be called #PassAway. I'm going to go home and just kind of pass away for a little while. No, this weekend has been amazing. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice. Again, go home, make those video testimonials about this weekend. Let's set the narrative. They're going to try to set the narrative. Let's not let them. We know what happened here. This is only the beginning. Only the beginning. And going into 2019 and 2020, the Walkway campaign is going to be so much more than what it even was this weekend. Thank you all for being a part of this. The first Walkway Brunch in Washington weekend. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you.
right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.